A very warm and fraternal greetings to the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik. Welcome to this timely and special press conference of the Grenada Union of Teachers. And to those, we want to say also a special welcome to those who are listening at the various medium throughout the Caribbean region, the diaspora, and across the world. And we want to say a special welcome to our teachers, the Grenada Union of Teachers, national executive members. We're talking about our teachers. We greet you this morning in a very special way, wherever you are throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik, retired teachers, teachers in active service. We want to say hi to you. This is a special day, as we say, this is the day that the Lord has made, and rejoice and be glad in it. In this special conference, press conference, as the Grenada Union of Teachers get ready to celebrate 112 years as a powerful organization, trade union organization, and we are really blessed. One of the organizations and institutions through the length and breadth of Grenada that have stood the test of times. And so before I go and expound on that, I just want to give the opportunity to my fellow colleagues here to explain themselves and to say who they are.
Pleasant good morning to the teachers and principal of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik, and a pleasant good morning to all the listeners on stream, on live. My name is Tommy Duncan, and I'm the first Vice President of the Grenada Union of Teachers.
A pleasant good morning to all. I'm Onis Samuel Richardson, Second Vice President of the Grenada Union of Teachers. I would like to say I am thankful to be of service to the teachers of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik. And it's my first press conference. And once again, thank you for being here to serve you.
Tommy Duncan and Brother Ernest Richardson. It's a pleasure indeed. And as we say, you're very fortunate at this time as we achieve a milestone of the Grenada Union of Teachers. One of the proud, or you may say proudest moments for us as teachers, the Grenada Union of Teachers have left its indelible mark upon the society, upon Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik, and has made its impact throughout the Caribbean region. And as we reflect, we ask the nation to rally with us and to think about it. What would Grenada has been like without the Grenada Union of Teachers over the 112 years, making sacrifices in valuable contribution in education, sports, culture, nation building, struggling also not only for members fighting on the behalf of the members of the Grenada Union of Teachers, but also for the working class men and women of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik, a strong voice. And I think the test of it is that the nation or citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitimatnik have the utmost confidence in the Grenada Union of Teachers. When we speak, when the Grenada Union of Teachers speak or we take action, I think the nation rally with us and they understand, because we have been a rallying force really and truly right down through generations over 112 years. And this formidable institution, trade union organization, have really and truly stood the test of time. So we are celebrating today, not only today 112 years as we go to the 20th of June, the union's birthday, but also Teachers Month, a June month, which is a special month for all teachers with a month of activities. And as we always say, every day should be Mother's Day, but the month of June, every day in our lives should be Teachers' Day, because teachers really and truly impact the nation, educate our children. Teachers make the sacrifices and go beyond the call of duty, mother's love and father's love for the nation. So we ask the nation to rally with us to support our teachers, and what we speak here, the language of appreciation and love and such for the Grenada Union of Teachers, and also for our teachers, with everything that they do is just sacrificial love on the altar for our educators, for the Ministry of Education, for government, for the nation's children, and for everybody else, communities across communities, the Grenada Union of Teachers. So that is where we are, and so we have a press conference. We want you to listen to us as we delve into activities for Teachers Month, and we're going to go straight ahead. So the theme basically that we are using for the month of June and everything for the activities that we have is the theme moving the union forward with professionalism and technology, the gateway to a transformative education sector. So let me just give you that theme again. Moving the union forward with professionalism and technology, the gateway to a transformative education sector. And as I reflect before even going into the theme, you think about the Grenada Union of Teachers as really and truly building blocks of a unifying force. And not just in this present construct, but you're talking about from generations to generation, presidents to president. Think about the number of persons who have really and truly made the sacrifices. All the various presidents over the 112 years, all the general secretaries, the various national executive. You're talking about branches here. You're talking about extended organizations. And we're talking about all the teachers whose names may not be in the newspaper, on the news, but really and truly to blood, sweat, and tears have made the sacrifice for the Grenada Union of Teachers and for education, for a stronger trade union organization throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. So we salute you today, because without you, you laid the foundation, the solid foundation for the Grenada Union of Teachers for what it is today. And for all those who have gone beyond the great beyond, today we remember you, and your members will live on because you have made sacrifices and all the things that you have done to make Grenada Union of Teachers stronger and better. And so we are thankful and we are very grateful for that. As we go now into Teachers' Months of activities, so we have June 1st, we have our church service and brunch. So St. Andrew's brunch. So that will take place in Maribor at Maribor Pentecostal Church, St. Andrew's at 10 a.m. And so the Grenada Union of Teachers, it is very customary. We live in a Christian society where we give praise and honor and glory to God. And that is what we're going to do basically on June 1st as we open up Teachers Month activities, and we ask God to bless our teachers, to bless our activities, and to bless the Grenada Union of Teachers. So we're going to go and give thanks and give praise to Almighty God for carrying us through this trade union organization throughout the 112 years, in all the struggles, the pain, everything that we had to do, and God has carried us through. And he will continue to carry us through for the next 112 years. And so we give thanks to Almighty God. So all road leads to all teachers, for all teachers, to Maribor Pentecostal Church, St. Andrews, 10 a.m. on Sunday, June 1st. And then that would follow by some. So we have fellowship and swallowship. And we look forward to that in our giving God thanks. So we go down to June 2nd. So that's the official opening by the Governor General, Her Excellency Dame Cecile La Grenade, officially opening Teachers Month, or June month for Teachers Month officially opened. And as we have given you the theme already, and she's customary to do a wonderful job, and we know that we expect nothing less, and she's going to do what she had to do, just as she did at GUT conference this year. So we want to express thanks to her, for she has a busy schedule, but in spite of that, she is doing what she has to do to serve the nation and also impact for the Grenada Union of Teachers. And so we are very, very thankful and appreciative. Then we have June 6th, community service. And that's what our teachers do. In fact, one day is just set aside for community service, but every day is like community service for our teachers, for the Grenada Union of Teachers, because there are lots of things that we do that the nation is not really aware of. The tremendous sacrifices and everything, but that is where we are. So throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, in every branch, including Carriacou and Petit Martinique, going to engage in community services, giving back to the citizens of Grenada, giving back to Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, serving our communities where we belong. And all those things, it is very, very important, because it is very good to say thanks and to show gratitude to the nation, because really and truly the nation have done us well, and also we are going to do our nation well, the Grenada Union of Teachers, always sacrificing, always going the extra mile. And that day, throughout the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, teachers are going to come out in the large numbers, and we call that Community Service Day, giving back to our communities, giving back to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. So without any further ado, I'm going to call upon Brother Richardson to talk about the quiz.
Okay, June 11th at the St. John's Anglican School, 6 p.m. That's where our quiz will be held. The tongue that never sleep, Guave, and fortunately, I'm a citizen of Guave. That would be the intellectual test of the minds of teachers. The quiz is really bragging rights, and I know there would be stiff competitions among the different branches. So all persons, all teachers, we are asking you to be out at the St. John's Anglican School come the 6th of June, where you'll have the battle of the minds of teachers. We have the quiz there, and you know, we have different components. We have psychology, education, sports, culture, just name it, music. So we'll be testing the minds. So please come out and fraternize with teachers, and we'll have a great time at the St. John's Anglican School, Guelph. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Richardson.
We have sporting discipline, like it would start off with the cross country, and throughout the day we have sporting discipline like football, cricket, basketball, netball, and of course the very anticipated funletic in the afternoon. So those who cannot play or kick a ball, they should be able to have something there for them. So we invite not only the teachers, but we also invite the general public to come out and have a wonderful day with us. So it will be, again, at the Lassages playing field, starting from 9 a.m. in the morning.
So, Brother Tommy Duncan. So we go back to again to June 13th, Teachers Sports Day. Really and truly is no surprise to the nation, because teachers are the ones most of the times who prepare students for sporting disciplines and divisions. Teachers are the ones who prepare the nation children for a quiz. Teachers are the ones who prepare the nation for children for almost everything. And so what we're showing there is that the various displays and skills and talents, you know, whether in the church, whether in the quiz, whether in sports day, the teachers can do it too. We can do it ourselves. And so it's going to be a wonderful time, and it's one of the most exciting time for the whole community, the nation, to come out and see the teachers really and truly in action, jumping, running, having fun, and especially the creative match pass, because in sports, the creativity in the match pass and everything is the teachers who really guide and prepare the children. And the best fun that you could have is teachers match pass on sports day. You're laughing till you cannot finish laughing. So we really want the whole nation to turn out and to support our teachers. All roads lead to Lassages, St. David's for Teachers Sports Day. Thank you very much. And so we're going to move on. We're moving on because we have lots of activities for Teachers Month. And here you have now June 20th, which is a special day for the Grenada Union of Teachers, for all teachers, for the nation. That special day, that glorious day when the union, that trade union organization was born, came into being, June 28th. And so we're going to celebrate 112 years of success. 112 years of struggle, 112 years, as we say, blood, sweat, and tears. Good times, bad times in all situations. And we're really and truly going to bring the teachers together and have a wonderful time in the afternoon of June 28th. So we know that will be really and truly, we will write to the Ministry of Education to get the official time off, which I think we have gotten already, so it is locked down. Last year it was nice, and he said, when it is nice, we're going to do it twice. And we expect that this time is really and truly going to be even better. So we're really going to celebrate the milestone of the GUT, but not only celebrating and just having fun, but the consciousness of commemorating and celebrating the 112 years, and every year we do it, is to make the younger teachers who are really and truly in the system and may not really truly know the history the historical factor of the Grenada Union of Teachers. That is a day for reflection. That is a day for introspection. So it's not just having fun and everything, but we should be proud of this trade union organization who really and truly, if you ask teachers who already facilitated a lot of the struggles, yes, and all those things, but without the Grenada Union of Teachers, teachers will ask the question, where would we have been? Probably with salaries, with all the various fringe benefits, with all the different things that we have achieved. Sometimes we take those things for granted, but those things would not have been possible. It is not the generosity of government or any government that really and truly just give teachers or workers things freely like that. It's struggle, blood, sweat, and tears. And that's the consciousness that we want to be awakened in our teachers. While we celebrate, yes, and have fun, we want our younger teachers and the older teachers to blend and to share basically the historical perspective, the struggles and everything of the Grenada Union of Teachers for all the things that really and truly we have achieved for our members, so that going forward, all those things will strengthen our young people and make sure that we have a strong, powerful, well-equipped Grenada Union of Teachers for another 112 years to come. And so that's the celebratory mode on the union's birthday, June 28th. And we look forward to that.
Okay, come June 28th, teachers can cook, and there would be plenty of finger-licking things at Batway. We are encouraging all the general public to come out and fraternize with us also in St. Patrick's. Batway, I can tell you, you have brung dung, oil dung, you have things like Manish Waters. You would be well endowed. So we are asking you to please, come up to Batway on the 28th of June. That's a Saturday night. You can't afford to miss it, because I'm telling you, there would be finger-licking things there. Remember, teachers are the one that responsible for creating chefs. So we will be doing our own thing there. So just come out and enjoy the finger-licking things. The folks at Carriacou, Brother Jude would tell you what they will be doing at Carriacou also. So thank you.
Kuan Pitimatnek branch is nowhere left out in all the activities. So we have our celebrations here, and over at Carriacou and Pitimatnek, the National Executive of the Grenada Union of Teachers usually lends support to whatever activities that take place over in Carriacou and Pitimatnek. So they have, on June 2nd, they have their church service. All right, so on June 2nd, Carriacou and Pitimatnek, they give thanks and praise to God for the same thing as we do. June 6th, they have the Community Service Day. And that's really and truly they go out. We know the hurricane that have affected Carriacou and Pitimatnek. And so whatever assistance is a day for digging deep, sacrificial love. So wherever you are, if you can contribute also to the people of Carriacou and Pitimatnek, the teachers, as they do what they have to do to serve Carriacou, the people of Carriacou and Pitimatnek. The Grenada Union of Teachers, all we want to do for them, or they are asked for, is for the planting of trees. And so we are going to order the plants in Grenada, and so we're asking the permission of the Ministry of Agriculture, because we tried to do it last week so we could have gotten it up to Carriacou, but Ashen then weren't able to give us the plants without the permission of the Ministry of Agriculture, because due to the earlier date, usually officially they sell plants in June, and so because we wanted it in May, it was sort of difficult. So I guess we will call or write to the Ministry of Agriculture, and so that we ask them for the permission really and truly to purchase the plants so we can send it up in time to Carriacou and Pitimatnek. So for all schools and wherever areas and communities, so that we can plant trees, and so the citizens of Carriacou and Pitimatnek can get back to the lush green, basically scenery that you had before. And so the Grenada Union of Teachers, we're going to do what we have to do and pay for it. June 13th, they have their branch sports. That is, we'll see what would happen. We saw something coming here from Carriacou and Pitimatnek asking for the first time for them to be in Grenada for the sporting activities. So that is something that will be discussed in-house. So we're just saying that here, but so we'll see what will happen. They're looking forward to great thing for sports, and they too display all their talents and skills, just as the teachers in Grenada. And then they have the June 18th, they have the health walk. All right, so you want a healthy nation, healthy student, healthy teachers. And so health is a part of it, as Brother Richardson would say, because he's basically the man of health and safety. All right, so in the workplace. June 28th also, Carriacou and Petit Martinique, they're in celebratory mood, just as the teachers in Grenada. It's one union, so we do things together. So they'll be doing it in their end there, and they have fun. And we see there they have June, they say more information will be given. So July 6th, they have famous boat cruise. So all the things that we have on the mainland in Grenada, all right, the teachers of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, they are doing it too. And so we ask for the support for the teachers in Carriacou and Petit Martinique. So we asked the Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs. They have been trying and such and supporting the teachers, and we want to take the opportunity to ask them to really and truly support, the ventures for Teachers Month. And we ask the citizens of Carriacou and Petit Martinique and Grenada to really and truly support our teachers, support love. I mean, the sacrifices and commitment, dedication to the call of duty, and all the things that the teachers do without looking back. You think, what would happen really and truly with our teachers? And just to show the significance, the importance of teachers, I'll quote 1 Corinthians chapter 12, basically verses 28. And God has placed in the church and in teaching, first of all, apostles, second, prophets, and third, teachers, before even tongues and prophecies and all the different things. The importance of teachers to our nation, teaching the nation's children. So it shows you the importance and the hard work, the dedication that teachers, the great responsibility and role that teachers have in educating the nation's children and to setting examples, because basically school and education is like the social factory with the family, bringing out citizens, all right? Good citizens for our country, for our nation, and for the workplace, and the teachers have a role to play. Think about it and look back. No matter all the persons inside there, even the journalists, even GBN, even TNR, even the government, the prime minister, ministers, oppositions, police force, you name it, nurses, doctors, lawyers, whatever profession, whether the ordinary working class man and woman of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, whatever job you have, teachers. Wherever you are, teachers. Sometimes it might be good, sometimes it might be a little bad, but teachers mold, shape, transform, educating the nation, digging deep. Teachers are the ones who have to 24/7 have to set up while person sleeping. You're planning, your head hurting you. What is for the next day? You have to be basically the parent away from home. The mother, the father, the doctor, the nurse. You are the ones who, if something happened to a child, to run to the hospital, to run to the raising funds in school, doing all sorts of different things. Teachers really and truly do a wonderful job. And sometimes as a nation, even sometimes as the Ministry of Education, even as government, sometimes we don't really appreciate it fully, the role, the responsibility, the hard work. Yes, there is always room for improvement, but you cannot have a nation, a successful nation, without good teachers. You cannot have a successful nation without good teachers. So it's a moment for us as we celebrate Teachers Month and 112 years of the Grenada Union of Teachers, really and truly supporting our members to show love and appreciation to teachers. And we want you doing that on June 28th, the union birthday. The bosses have always given teachers free rides and all those things, free rides. The restaurants and hotels and different things, call the teachers in. Special passes for teachers. Little gift shops and different things. Give somebody something. Somebody in a workplace, wherever you are, in the bank or what the case may be, wherever you might remember a teacher who have touched your life and look back and go back and give something small, all right, to that teacher. Show appreciation, say thanks. And we ask those children in school now, whether secondary or primary, or tertiary education, a nice little note. It don't have to be anything big. A little flower, a little chocolate, a little whatever. Just to look back and to say, thank you, teacher, for the wonderful and the great job that you have done. Because the sacrifices that teachers make, it is not easy. It is not easy at all. So we are very, very grateful. And before we move away from that topic, I want to read to you a little poem because it's Teachers Month. And it says here, A Teacher for All Season by Joanna Fouch. So I want the nation to listen to it, the role and sacrifices, love of teachers. A teacher is like spring who nurtures new green sprouts, encourages and leads them whenever they have doubts. A teacher is like summer whose sunny temperament makes studying a pleasure, preventing discontent. A teacher is like fall with methods crisp and clear, lessons of bright colors and a happy atmosphere. A teacher is like winter while it's snowing hard outside, keeping students comfortable as a warm and helpful guide. Teachers, you do all these things with a pleasant attitude. You are a teacher for all season, and you have my gratitude. And that's what we really want for the nation. Because many times the teachers are hurting, and we use the opportunity to speak on it before even going now to other areas. While we say appreciation for the teachers, respect is also on both sides, appreciation. And it's becoming difficult for a lot of teachers are crying. Some teachers, and we call on the government of Grenada, because government is continuum. We call on the Ministry of Education to take note. A lot of our teachers are really and truly, getting frustrated. They want good seasoned teachers, experienced teachers, but they want to call it a day because they are frustrated. If you watch what is happening, and we don't want that in Grenada, we don't want that in our schools, where most of the time, sometimes the teachers are attacked. Sometimes teachers are being beaten, bullied. You have sometimes children fighting with children. Sometimes you have parents, not all parents. We want to say kudos to the parents, responsible parents of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, who are very supportive to teachers. There are a lot of parents. They don't make joke with that. All right? And even if something goes wrong, a misunderstanding between the teacher and student, they don't really come in the school and what the case may be and such and be violent or what the case may be. They come in a professional way to find out or to understand and to trash it out. And that's what we must emulate. So throughout the nation, parents and the citizens of Grenada are very, very supportive, but we are seeing a trend in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique where sometimes teachers are afraid to go to work. Sometimes children are attacking them or children are attacking other children. You have situations where parents are coming in school and chastising and want to fight with teachers and even other students, and we say no to that. So we're asking the Ministry of Education, because it is something that is happening in schools that you never thought. All the good schools are the schools that was really disciplined, and schools that you never thought those things would happen. You're hearing all over, and it's becoming a trend. So we want to nip it in the bud. The Grenada Union of Teachers cannot do it alone, but a collaborative approach with government, with Ministry of Education, with the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique to come together. All right? So while children have rights, they have to be responsible also. All right? And we observe sometimes that all the rights sometimes are kind of one-sided, that the children know they have rights, and they remind you of their rights. And because they have it now, sometimes they appear that they could do what they want. And it's supposed to be a balanced approach, because those things will be very disruptive to education. And we have a nice flow in education. The government basically wants transformation in education, wants education to go forward. That's how we're going to develop our nation. So we cannot have chaos and confusion in the education system where the educators are afraid to go to work and those things like that, so and feel that they have no rights. Then you will defeat all the things that you want to achieve. So Ministry of Education, take note and treat the teachers with respect, with some love and appreciation. And we call our teachers to dig deep. Anybody here, Brother Tommy, do you want to just express in probably a minute or 30 seconds something about the appreciative domain for teachers? And Brother Richardson, call on Brother Tommy first.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. As said before, it is very important that we treat teachers with the dignity and respect that they deserve. And I know for a fact that before, and I hope it is present now, before you had these places being safe spaces: school, your home, and church. Now, what we have seen in recent years, we have seen that the school are becoming unsafe, and not unsafe in terms of the students misbehaving, but we have situations where you have parents coming into the school and creating problems. So this is something that we cannot accept as a union, and this is something that the nation as a whole should not accept. So we are admonishing to the parents: when there is something in the school, you go in a very professional way, find out, try to figure out what happened. But the sort of violence that happens sometimes, or the intent to create violence and to create fear, this should not be accepted by the entire nation.
Thank you very much, Brother.
Yes, I think that some more appreciation need to be shown to teachers. So I'm calling on the Prime Minister. He himself was a teacher. The Minister of Education, Honorable Andrew, he himself was a teacher. Foreign Minister, teacher. So I'm calling on all these persons, even the business community, to just show some appreciation to teachers, those from what we would call the schools that is run by the denominations. We ask the different denominations to show some appreciation to our teachers and the community in which teachers are from. We are asking the business places there to show some appreciation in some small way that would help. I remember when I was a teacher some 35 years ago, children would bring mangoes for you. They would bring bananas. They would bring, sometime a couple eggs. And all these kind of things, the parents would then show the loveliest crayfish cane and all these things just to show appreciation to the teachers. So I am asking that those persons, just feel free and be loving to teachers and show appreciation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Richardson and Brother Tommy. Well said. So I think we can move away a bit to that aspect in terms of the union duty in one end and Teachers Month. And we're going to move forward into some matters to be discussed, important matters to us, where we are having some problems, some successes, we're having some struggles, and we're going to discuss to bring attention to the nation, to bring attention to the Ministry of Education, to bring attention to the governments of Grenada, Carriacou, and PT Martinique. And one of the first and foremost here on our mind is regularization of teachers, the regularization of temporary teachers. So before I even go into that, I want to express gratitude to the new PS and other persons in the Ministry of Education, but especially the new PS, all right? So Lauren St. Louis Ned. She is someone as a new PS who you can see that she is very much concerned about teachers and workers and the history of her in various ministries as a hard worker. I think basically, although she did not express that vividly in the sense, her frustration, she is frustrated because she is a woman, a person of action. And really and truly, since she came in the Ministry of Education, would have given us the assurance of her concerns and the things that she really wants us to work together to achieve for our teachers. But what we observe with those things, with various engagement, the Grenada Union of Teachers, the time consuming that's the problem in the public service. So many different set of people that you have to go to, organizations or departments that have to deal with various documents before it reaches the Public Service Commission, right? And many times the Public Service Commission themselves become frustrated because it seems sometimes that they blame everything that doesn't happen. They say, well, okay, the Public Service Commission hasn't approved it as yet, but it has to go to the Ministry of Education. It has to go to DPA. It has to go there and everywhere. And we're calling on the government of Grenada because that is an hindrance or something we observe from since government to government, from one government to the next, the process of dealing with things. And so what it does, it affects government. Because even if the government have every good intention for regularization, even if the government have every good intention to pay on time and to do all the different things, if they don't really lock down with the workers, the persons who are the hem of really and truly executing these things, the government that will get the blame. So it is incumbent of the government of Grenada to really and truly have an eye on its workers at the highest level and the importance of getting things done quickly and executed on time. Because all those things could create frustration and it could cause the Grenada Union of Teachers and any union to take action. Because if you're there waiting for all this length of time and you're talking, you're holding discussion, but then at the end of the day, it's just a go around and you're not getting the issue solved, then the nation have to understand the last resort that you have is really and truly taking action to really force in the hand. And that's not really the first and foremost thing that we want to do. So we are calling upon the government, the Ministry of Education and our places to take notes. While we appreciate 226 teachers will be regularized, Cabinet has approved, and that process has been going on for a very long time. And even at GOT conference in April, we announced and the minister announced, it seems that from basically Cabinet approved, we have not seen the movement of these documents from DPA to the Public Service Commission. And teachers are calling all the time because they hear. No, that would be an embarrassment. It's not only the GOT now. It will be an embarrassment to the government and the Ministry of Education because that is their word. Remember, since when the budget presentation and such, it was said that there's a special day. I can't remember if it was March 30th or something. So by that date, the teachers will be regularized. And that date has gone and such. Yes, Cabinet has approved by April when we had the conference, but it is still delaying. And teachers are so what I'm saying is that by the time the teachers get a letter, they're sour. The teachers should be praising and have that joy. Yes, they're going to be thankful and we are grateful for all the teachers who will be regularized. But by the time they get a letter, they vex and sour. And that is unnecessary in the sense. Because the government wants to do it. The government wants to regularize teachers. And so there are unnecessary delays and bottleneck somewhere in the public service that is clogging and frustrating basically what is to be done. So I understand, and today I still say thanks to PS Ned and other persons in the Ministry of Education who really wants to get the thing done, but it has to go through so many different processes and taking a long time. And so we are watching because we are becoming frustrated too. But to say the good news that very soon 226 teachers will be regularized and receive basically the official letter. And at the same time, the Ministry of Education is getting ready to send the names of about 100 and something teachers, again, after the 226 to be regularized. So we don't know how long that will take because this one has also took long and too long. But we recognize and we show some praise and appreciation to the Ministry of Education and to the government of Grenada. And so we call on all the teachers. We will not rest until all our temporary teachers who are due for regularization to be regularized and to ensure that they receive the blessings and the graces of the 1958 pension because they are in before 2025. And that is a matter we're going to talk about another time. So we give praise and we give thanks. We're going to move on. TAMCC. We have some burning issues at TAMCC. The lecturers, the Grenada Union of Teachers, is the official, lawfully body, legitimate union that represents the lecturers at TAMCC, or the TLA. And for many, many years, so we want to give you the history with clarity. The GUT, there was no collective bargaining agreement between TAMCC, Council, and the TLA. So whatever the GUT negotiates with government for teachers at the primary and secondary school, the public sector, you may say, that's what the TLA would benefit from. All the salary increases and such. But what we've seen here is that the TLA the TAMCC and council, they want a new framework. Government have been calling for a new collective bargaining agreement between the Grenada Union of Teachers and TAMCC for the lecturers. And we have prepared that document almost a year ago. And we submitted the document to TAMCC. Really and truly, negotiations started somewhere February, March. That's the few meetings that we had. And after March, we haven't heard really and truly anything again. When we started the negotiating table with TAMCC's negotiating team, it was kind of shocking to hear that TAMCC negotiating team telling us that they have to wait and get permission from the government of Grenada to negotiate salary increase, when the government of Grenada have been giving them the okay to negotiate. In fact, before the lecturers at TAMCC get their 2023 and 2024 salary increases of the 4%, the Minister for Education has called for and said they're going to hold back the process until this new collective bargaining arrangement have been approved and met. And so the government of Grenada wants it, and we started the process. Right, we have started the process, but we have seen an unnecessary delay there that is causing some frustration. All right, so we're hearing about the Ministry of Finance, we're hearing about the government of Grenada. So we're calling on the government of Grenada. We're calling for the Minister for Education, the Ministry of Finance, to do what we have to do, all right, for that negotiating cycle to come to an end. So for once and for all, we can have a collective bargaining agreement with the GUT and TAMCC for the lecturers at TAMCC, the TLA. All right, so we have the new pension, all right, the contributory pension scheme. Basically, TLA, yes, is a statutory body, but it's sort of different to NAWAS and other entities as statutory bodies. As what you're seeing there is that there in the TAMCC Act, pension, the lecturers should and PW workers should receive some sort of pension. And that didn't happen. The retired savings plan did not cater for that. So we are very, very happy, and we're saying that for the lecturers at TAMCC to fall under this new contributory pension. But at the same time, government has to be mindful that some of the lecturers were working with government before some of them even went over to TAMCC. And therefore, they should be accredited or compensated with whatever past credit scheme that you have to put over to the new pension scheme. And with the 3%, both employer and employee. So we call in on the government because TAMCC that has to do it anyway for the employer. And government represents basically the employer because TAMCC doesn't really have that funds. And that is an unnecessary delay. That will be a milestone for the government of Grenada. We applaud the government of Grenada on record here for this milestone in terms of the contributory pension for unestablished workers. It's a wonderful thing. It's a watershed thing in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. But we're saying for the lecturers, all right, we really want to see that it comes on stream and there is an unnecessary delay here. And when the government executes it on TAMCC, it will be a milestone for the lecturers. All right, so we call on TAMCC and government to get it done and to get the new collective bargaining, to get it back on stream so that we could have continuous negotiations. And to put on record for TAMCC that would never give up this 5% for our lecturers for 2025. I think the Ministry of Education, probably government, and also TAMCC was asking that we give up renegotiate the 2025 for that 5%. The lecturers receive 2023, they receive 2024, and the GUT will not renegotiate. We have said it around the table that we paid, it's time to pay the lecturers. We go into June, so we want to hear what is taking place. We don't really want to go into whatever other actions or other things. Let me just do it nice and pay the lecturers at TAMCC and the public workers their 5% for 2025, and let us really and truly move on. And that is what we're really asking for. We were really asking, the Ministry of Finance said we were asking for concession for some workers in high positions at TAMCC. You have deans, you have persons, head of departments, and those persons don't enjoy vehicular concessions, basically like us. And we're asking, and so there seems to be a unnecessary delay there with the pension reform. And these are the things that we are calling for, and then so that we can harmonize and we can make the TAMCC basically the education tertiary institution that it really ought to be. And so we thank you. So we're going to move on. Upgrades. Here we still having some problems with the master's degree. Bachelors to some extent, because there are still some teachers that have not received the upgrades, but the masters. And we know the frustration here of PSNED. All right? We know the frustration there. And the Grenada Union of Teachers, the teachers are frustrated. This master's degree and the inducement allowance that the teachers are supposed to get is not a gift from government now. That is not a handout now. That is something that have been negotiated for. It is something that has been negotiated for, and it is called an inducement allowance. And so, for what reason it was stopped under the previous administration that asked the Ministry of Education to review it? And so we cannot see the reason why. There was no consultation with us. We have negotiated that and make sure that there are persons in the Ministry of Education, there are other beneficiaries of it who got their monies. And so teachers, the government of Grenada asked teachers to study, to go and do a degree, because they recognize that Grenada, degrees and such in higher studies were deficient. There is some kind of lack in there as compared to Barbados and other places. So that was something is not incorporated in the teacher's salary. When you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to do a master's or such, you're not really getting compensated. It's not in your pay grade. It's not in the scale. What is just an inducement allowance. So you telling me that the teachers study for all this time and spend a lot of money because government not giving them really full scholarship. When you get a scholarship, most of the time you have to pay a lot of the monies for yourself. And this priority areas is not correct. Is not correct at all. So the Ministry of Education and wherever will say to the teachers that you did not study, if you're teaching maths, you can't study biology or some science, so you'll not be upgraded. And it's unfair. Teaching is dynamic. Can't just study in one area when you could be called upon to use your service, to use your degree in other areas in school and to strengthen the education. So we're calling on the Ministry of Education to really and truly to do what they have to do, on the government of Grenada. It is time for the teachers to be compensated who have done the masters for the inducement allowance. And so we're looking forward to dialogue so that that could be done. Persons with a bachelor's also. And I would call on Brother Tommy Duncan to talk about now the technical teachers, who is a level of frustration also.
Yes, just to add, Brother PJ, when it comes to the inducement allowance and when it comes to upgrade, there is no policy within the Ministry of Education that talks about areas where you cannot study. It only deals with areas where that can happen, that when they give you scholarship. But in terms of upgrade, there is nothing as it pertains to policy that talks about some bachelors can be upgraded and others can't. Now, a very burning issue that we have, and I've spoken to that a numerous times before. We have had a press conference some time back, and we have to talk about the technical teachers. Both the government of Grenada and the Ministry of Education, by extension, has emphasized the importance of technical studies and technical TVET. They have emphasized that over and over again. But what we have recognized, a lot of the time, it is only talk. And the reason why we are saying it is only talk, we have a cohort of 9 teachers who have been, they have not been upgraded, even though they do have the qualification for upgrade. And we have been fighting that battle since 2023. So that's going on 2 years now. We don't know, we're trying to find out what exactly is the problem with these teachers and why they are not being upgraded. And we have been beaten around the bush all over the place. And what we are asking, both the government of Grenada and the Ministry of Education, if you believe that the technical subject is of utmost importance, then you need to show that not just by words, but by action. And we demand that these teachers be upgraded.
Yes, but I will just add is much more than 2 years since 2008 or whatever the teachers were struggling for that upgrade. And basically the accreditation board have accredited them. And so we brought the letter and documents to the Ministry of Education. That's about going on 2 years now. So they are properly accredited. And then we cannot see why these teachers basically, based on what they have done, they have been accredited and they're equivalent to a qualified teacher. And so for all these years going back, these teachers have not been compensated. And so it is just unnecessary delay. And it's causing some pain. As you say, the government's goal, the government's trust, the Ministry of Education is for TVET skills and all those things. So if the teachers are treated badly, who would you encourage to go and motivate to go in those areas to study? So it's becoming very bitter and sour amongst the teachers, demotivated, and we call on the Ministry of Education and the government of Grenada to do what they have to do, to upgrade the teachers and then decide, calculate the monies, and then you will work that out. But upgrade them. What is the delay there? The process again from DPA, it seems it's coming now that there is a battle between DPA, the Ministry of Education, and all the various roads that the teachers have to travel. Why? It coming now as if, well, I don't want to go down DPA because they're playing a role. But it seems as DPA is playing an equivalent role as the Public Service Commission, and it seems that they're having some unnecessary roadblocks there and stumbling block. It's same as the masters. And a lot of the people who, this thing is causing a problem in plain language, because the people who serve us at the Ministry of Education and the other department, they are serving teachers, but they are not, basically, a lot of them are not GUT members. And so it seems as there is some sour grapes there with the teachers getting an inducement allowance, and they're getting it continuously, and then others, probably from the public service, are getting a one-off. But that is something that we have negotiated for. So the other, whoever represents the other union, what they have to do is to negotiate so that they come on par with GUT. Yeah, they have to do that. Negotiate to come on par with GUT in terms of that so that we equal going forward. But we demand that respect for our teachers with their masters, that they get the inducement allowance. We're not making any joke here. And we're calling, if you really love and appreciate the teachers, for Teachers Month and GUT for basically 112 years, we demand that certain respect and forget about these priority areas and all these excuse things, all right, which will cause the GUT and teachers to really get vexed. Because that thing has been going on for too long, and it is a great injustice while we're celebrating the teachers. So we call on the Minister for Education, the PS, the government of Grenada. If you love and you appreciate teachers, appreciate them by giving them the benefits and all the other benefits that we have not been given for many years, and the inducement allowance. Thank you. Thank you very much, Brother Tommy. We're going to just go over now to Carriacou and PT Matnik again. We want to show some love and appreciation to the Ministry of Education, to the Minister for Carriacou and PT Matnik Affairs, and also to the Honorable Andy Williams in this housing program, because we say thanks. And so in 112 years, while we have some gripes and some things that haven't always worked out the way we want to, there is also to say thanks, all right? To say and to express gratitude to the government of Grenada and to Carriacou and PT Matnik Affairs for the housing assistance for our teachers. They are very, very grateful. But we recognize at the same time during Teachers Month that there are quite a number of teachers who are struggling in Carriacou and PT Matnik still. And I have just visited Carriacou and PT Matnik, not only teachers, but the Grenada Union of Teachers. While we fight for our members, the history of us is that we also fight for the ordinary men and women, the working class people of Carriacou and PT Matnik also, and Grenada. And so we make a plea to the government, while they are doing a wonderful job in terms of the housing program after Hurricane Beryl, building back better, while over there, you hear the cry of some ordinary people who still do not have a home. Some of them, one of the problems is that they were renting, and because, as the hurricane passed, they're not getting the necessary permission to rebuild. And so we're asking the government to look at that, because that could create some problems for people who had a home before, had some place, and then they have nowhere to stay. And because they do not have the land, they don't get access to it, they're denied a home. So we call on the government to do what they have to do for the teachers and for the ordinary working class, and also the ordinary working people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique, so that really and truly they'll be able to get somewhere to have a home and to really smile. And also for Grenada. And we say also thanks, because we recognize that they're also building some wonderful houses all over the place for persons. So continue the job and do what they have to do. We also talking here about subventions for schools. A lot of principals have been crying out. It's a wonderful thing that the government have been doing in terms of the free lunches and all the other subventions that they have to pay in school, from administration to administration. But we're saying sometimes that while it was well intended, some of those things haven't properly thought out. And so principals are frustrated, teachers are frustrated, because when you free lunch for everybody, or almost everybody, and is not coming on time, the money and the food and all those things, and principals are crying out. So those subventions to do things, all right, remember the government really and truly stopped schools from collecting certain fees from children. So it means that they cannot generate the funds that they used to. The school feeding used to work nicely when the schools used to collect the little dollars. All those little dollars used to pile up, and when the school running out of things, not only for food, they're running and buy the toilet paper, they will put it back. They're running and buy the ink for the photocopying machine, sometimes from the same funds from the school feeding. They are accountable. Yes, they record it. But now that government put an end to the school feeding program and those things, they cannot do that. They are at the mercy of the government and the Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Finance, for all funds that have to come in schools. And therefore, how would the school run properly? So these things are causing more stress on principals, more stress on teachers that they have already. And you recognize that our teachers have been frustrated. If you look at it, teachers are dying. For the last few months, so many teachers are dying, even pre-retirement and others, because of stress and frustration. They cannot even enjoy the little pension that we fought so hard for. Yes, they cannot enjoy it. So we're asking the government, whereas this program all those programs are well intended. The government means well, but meaning well is not really well. All right, so if you want anything to execute it nicely, you're going to get the praise, because what you're doing in feeding the nation's children is a wonderful thing. But don't cause the unnecessary frustration and let it go for the school. They don't have the stove, they don't have the storage area, they don't have the proper cooker, the fridge, and all those things to store those things. So you have to put all those things in place too, while you think, and feed the nation, because it's a good thing. When you're feeding the nation, so there is no excuse why children cannot come to school, because you're feeding the nation. When you pay the school fees for TAMCC, for the children to go to school, is a wonderful thing. But where it becomes a problem is when you're not paying it on time, because it means they know that the school now, they cannot get the flow, the cash flow. And so that's what we're asking for. The teachers and principals are very, very frustrated because this subvention is not coming on time, and they want it to be timely. And we're asking the government, we say, thank you very much for what you are doing, but go back on the drawing board. Instruct Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Education, have an opening eye and overseer to make sure that those things reach where it's supposed to be on time, to alleviate the frustration, and they will done timely. We have a situation here with acting principals. And we said those acting principals have been acting for a long time. So we have been saying these principals, they look as if, again, like they're in Hollywood. And so been acting, and they cannot don't act. And that is a problem there, It's a problem. The acting principals last year, they had 2 interviews, 2 sets. One from the Ministry of Education and one from PSC. Since February 2024, and those principals, those acting principals, they have this space in the schools, but they acting. Why can't the Ministry of Education and PSC confirm these people? Once there is an opening space and they're not holding on for somebody, if you're satisfied, you interview the people, they haven't heard anything from you for all this long time. So how that could be? So sometimes this thing is that whoever the factors, it doesn't have to be that cabinet or the government right on top knows about these things in some sense. They have the people in place, but they have to be held accountable because they are government. So it's a frustration for acting principals who acting and doing a wonderful job, some of them in schools or most of them. And it's just as if you're passing on them, they cannot hear anything. Good job, good job, good job to them. You're praising them for what they're doing, but then you're not confirming their position, and they are frustrated. So we're asking the PSC to look at that and to confirm some of this position and make some of these principles and them happy. Or tell them something. Tell them if you have any other thing and you don't want to confirm them, tell them the reason why. But do something for these people and alleviate that level of frustration. So while you're regularizing the teachers, also confirm those principals who you're satisfied with, and such. They did the interview so that you harmonize the whole thing and such. And we get things rolling. So that's the level of frustration there. So we call in on. We recognize also that there was something in the air there with teachers and transfer. And it was coming all over the place, teachers and transfer. The Grenada Union of Teachers, we watching the situation. As we said, we're going to take the matter to our union lawyer, as basically we did so that we could get some guidance. All right, so we could get some guidance in terms of what is happening there. And that is where the matter is with some of the teachers who were on transfer. So we didn't speak all over the place on the matter. All right, what we will do is to seek guidance to see whether or not with the transfer, whether it was legitimate, whatever happens and everything. That is where we are. All right, that is where we are with the transfer. But at the same time, we are saying to the Ministry of Education, to the PSC, and to government that don't make that a habit. We don't want that become a habit of just displacing teachers and such, and we don't really want that. These are some of the things that we really stood up in terms of against, and we don't want the Ministry of Education, we don't want whatever department to just feel they could just take our teachers and shove them here, shove them there, put them everywhere. So while we're watching that matter and we're getting some legal opinion on it, we're watching with our close eyes to see what is happening, because we don't want to sort of give license to anybody, or we don't want to give license to principals. We support because we have one union for all principals and teachers. So when there is a dispute, we just want to say that to the nation. When there is a dispute or something happening in schools between teachers and principals, it is harder to deal with. All right? The union is right in the middle. The union represents both principal and the union represents teachers. It is easier sometimes to deal with a situation where is the Ministry of Education, or let's say the government of Grenada. So we have to balance the equation, tread cautiously, examine the whole thing to see what is happening there, and before we think. But we send in loud and clear, because we don't want that to become a habit for our teachers that they are being displaced and just sending them here, there, and everywhere, and think we're going to just stand up for it and you're going to get away with it. So we send in a signal and a warning and a word of caution. That is where we are. Is there anything from Brother Richardson or anybody else that we have not really touched or dealt with? No. Quickly. So if that be the situation, just to kind of round up, we just want to say, all right, so the Romana.
Okay, the penultimate event that we have as it pertains to the month of activity, on the 4th of July, we have the official closing address, and that will be done by the first vice president, which is myself. And what it will be just a sort of summary of what took place for the month and where we go from there. So that would be the penultimate event.
Yes, before we close, I'm going to just speak quickly on an issue, and then I will ask Brother Richardson and Brother Tommy to just give their closing remarks, and then I will finalize. I just want to speak a little bit, permit me to talk about the preschool, early childhood, and basically teachers in charge. They have been crying out for a long time, years upon years. The preschool, and we realize that there are few preschool teachers, especially those in charge, who have died. And at their funerals and such, you hear the glowing tribute and everything. You hear it from GUT, you hear it from the ministry, you hear it from everybody. But he said, give a man the flowers while they're alive. And in preschool there, they're crying out because the head teacher in preschool have to be like a principal. That role, administrative role, and everything. Sending all the reports to the Ministry of Education that a principal in a full school, in a primary school, basically does. And still have their class. Still have to man their class. So there isn't an additional teacher there to take that space of the teacher in charge. And they're not getting any sort of compensation for all the additional work that they have to do. So it is unfair. And so we're calling on the Ministry of Education. Show some love to those teachers in preschool, the teacher in charge. Because they're crying out. Give them the flowers while they're alive. Some of these preschool teachers and teachers died. They don't get no pension. They don't get anything. Some of them have to pay the little money you're giving them. They have to pay a cleaner to clean their classroom. They have to wipe all the time. Bring it back where they could get a full cleaner in the preschool. Because that is a place that you have to keep. Brother Richardson should be able to tell you about that. Health and safety. With the little children, you have to clean down the desk all the time, sweep, make sure that the hands clean, do all sort of things. So you should have a cleaner there at all times, and it's really, really frustrating. Remember, that's the foundation level for education. So you have to treat them properly. So we're calling on them to do that. Right? And all the other ends where the teachers have been crying out for pain and time, that is still an issue. There is a teacher in TAMCC, Miss Isaac, I can't remember her last name. She was in the batch of teachers from since September that we took industrial action for. The Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Education sent her money or payments in a wrong account in a bank, financial institution. And all that she did, she cannot get it from since September, you know. She hasn't gotten it up to now, and that is not her fault. So it's just like the mercy of the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Education and the financial institution. That is not her work to go and provide documents. All the Ministry of Education and the government has to do is to get that letter and such and to instruct the Ministry of Finance or Ministry of Education to correct the wrong that they have done and to send the money into the right account so that teacher didn't get paid. So if we go back now and take industrial action, people will say, what happened to GUT and what they're doing? But sometimes the nation is not aware of all the different things that we're going through because we don't go as a union. A long time I haven't gone on any program. A long time I haven't gone on GBN to the point or even a press conference. So there are a lot of things, yes, the ministry have improved. There's a lot to be thankful for. But there are some things, how a teacher could be in that situation where we take industrial action for the teacher and that teacher still didn't get her money for that month. That is embarrassing and painful. And I'm positively sure if the government of Grenada, if the Honorable Deacon Mitchell hear that now, he will be mad and say, well, what's going on? What is going on at this level in the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Education, where we work so hard to solve that situation and to settle this matter and to go forward? There's still a lot of delays, unnecessary delays for teachers' payment, a lot of unnecessary delays for salary slips still. Teachers giving their email address, and what is happening? Something happening somewhere. And as I'm saying, that is not at the higher level with cabinets, but cabinet government has to take the blame and the responsibility. And if you want for a successful government, a warning to them to open their eyes and to have an eye on the various ministries to make sure that they do what they have to do. Because at the end of the day, it's the government that will look bad. And if they're smart and they're wise, they're doing things, but they want it to be done and to be done, executed properly and nicely. Open your eyes and make sure your things get done. And that's the clarion call that we are going through. We wish another batch of teachers to come get you for Teachers College for this new year, September new school year. We haven't heard anything about that as yet. So that is where we are. So I call upon Brother Richardson to basically give your closing remarks, and then I'll call on Brother Tommy, and then I will do the same.
Okay, I just would like to say thanks to all the teachers that are participating in the various sporting activities. We are down to the preliminaries as we conclude our big sports day on the 13th. But we are asking all teachers to come out and show support. We want you to be there in all of our activities. So we are just calling on all the teachers to please come out and give support. And once again, I would just like to say thank you very much for all the teachers that place confidence in me. We are now working with all the different committees so that we can have things rolling smoothly as a union. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you.
Brother Tommy, your closing remarks.
Yeah, thank you very much, Brother President. Just a recap, June 1st, church service, and that will be in Marybo Pentecostal Church. June 2nd, that will be the official opening of the Teachers' Month celebration, and that will be done by the Governor General. June 6th, the Community Service Day, and that is by all branches, including Carriacou and Petit Martinique. June 11th, Teachers' Quiz. June 13th, Teachers' Sports. June 28th, the birthday celebration, 112 years in existence as a GUT. June 28th, Teachers Can Cook, and that will be held at Batway. June 4th, we have our official closing ceremony. And last but not least, we have forgotten to tell you that. We forgot to tell you this. On the 5th of July, the much anticipated Rum Runner Cruise. And that would be, as I said, that would be on the 5th of July, Rum Runner Cruise, 7 p.m., and tickets are available at the union's office. So I want to thank you in a very special way to the listening public and to you, the teachers and principal of the Grenada Union of Teachers. Thank you very much for having me here. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I just want to reflect again and to say thanks. Thanks to Almighty God for the Grenada Union of Teachers, this noble trade union organization that have left its hallmark in the embedded in the nucleus of the Grenadian society, and for the tremendous and enormous contribution that the Grenada Union of Teachers had made to the nation, to every community, to sports, as we say, to education, to culture, to nation building. You just name it. The Grenada Union of Teachers have served the Grenadian people well and have served really teachers well. When you look back at what you own, when you look back as a young teacher, old teacher throughout your life and what you would have achieved, it was because of the Grenada Union of Teachers. And you have to be grateful, thankful, and appreciative, and to thank God and to support your union. And we call upon the citizens of Grenada, Carriacou and Petit Martinique, because when we struggle, we don't only struggle for teachers, but we struggle for you. Whatever action we take it for you. When we teach your children, we're doing it for you so that we can raise young minds and educate the nation, right, so that you can grow and transform Grenada and every family into a better place. So I call upon the citizens of Grenada to rally behind the teachers of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. You may not like everything that we have done. There are little times when we have failed you, but the teachers, they really mean well, and they work well and they work hard. The sacrifices that teachers make for the nation and for the various communities is really and truly, no money could pay for that. So we ask you to support and to rally behind your teachers, and really and truly during Teachers Month to do everything to show your teachers some love from every community, every business aspect, show the length and breadth of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Show the love and appreciation to our teachers, and we say, long live the Grenada Union of Teachers.
Long live.
Any questions? Anything from us? Are we being crystal clear?
The thing I wanted to ask you is regarding when you spoke about the teachers for the masters. One thing I wanted to ask you is when was the last correspondence with government regarding that and for the bachelors? And have you guys come up with a solution for the CXC markings and stuff? Because I know last time we did have an issue with that.
Well, yes, thank you very much for those questions. For the SBA and such, the markings for CPA, we are very, very grateful. As I said, that is something that we have been crying out for from all governments and administration. So we want to put on record here our deepest appreciation to this administration under the Honorable Deacon Mitchell for signing up to an agreement in really and truly honoring that for the payment of the marking of not only SBAs, and think about it. Jamaica, the mighty big Jamaica, only got payments for the marking of SBAs. And what they got, Grenada, what the government did for us, we have to be very, very grateful. SBAs, remind me, let me count them. We have SBAs, we have CCS LC, which is a Form 3 exam. We have CPA, we have CVQs, and CVQs is $25, almost 9 point something to 10 US. The marking of SBAs is basically how much? About 5 US? 5 US per script for 5 areas, even the persons who are doing the posting and all those things. So it's a milestone and a watershed for what this administration have done. So we are grateful. We are very, very, very grateful for that. So it's a work in progress. There is room for improvement because they did pay last Christmas, December, but while we pay and such and working on the policy or the framework for it, we recognize that there are some areas for improvement. So it's a work in progress and we're going to improve. All right? What we did say to the government and the Ministry of Education, pay the teachers in July. And so they should be getting ready to get some money soon and not in September or in October. So it's a milestone for the Grenada Union of Teachers and for the government of Grenada, the Ministry of Education. For the master's degree, we got a correspondence from the PS and basically inviting us, one or two, myself and the first VP will attend an engagement. Because of time, our meeting was supposed to be organized before, and we weren't really able to attend. I think conference and everything was around the corner. But I think that the PS wants to really solve this thing. As you said, it shouldn't be negotiation because it's something signed. All right, but give and take, they have to give a report to cabinet, as what they said. But we really want, we're crying out. The teachers are crying out. If we didn't achieve anything else for a teacher's month and for all those things, we want teachers to get a master's compensation, bachelor's, they upgrade for TAMCCs. We want them to get their pay slip, because the pay slip is important, and all the different things. And from the Ministry of Education, some more love, respect, and appreciation to our teachers. Without the teachers, the ministry doomed, because the teachers that doing it all. Yes, they call the shots and such, but the teachers, if the teachers don't decide to do it, then education will fail. So be grateful and appreciative. Thanks to the Ministry of Education, thanks to the government of Grenada and governments before, thanks to the GUT, thank you teachers, thanks to the whole nation and all those who have contributed in making GUT stronger and better for 112 years and the teachers together, and show the love. We thank you.